Recording.
I'm back.
All right, there we go. All right, Lily, Kelly, Andrew, how y'all doing today?
Good.
Good. So tell me, how excited are y'all for the Wedding Banquet to release in theaters?
So stoked.
Yeah.
So excited.
Very ready.
Very ready, yes. I mean, this film is such a heartfelt and hilarious celebration of chosen family, identity, and cultural expectations. What initially drew each of you to this project, and how did the script resonate with you personally?
Me start?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love The Wedding Banquet. It's the first gay film I ever saw, and I think, like any great piece of art, it inspires other art. And I remember watching it, in preparation for my meeting with the producers, and just like having it bring up all these emotions and insights and memories of conversations with my boyfriend about, getting married and having kids.
Mhm.
And so I thought of it very organically, just like what are the feelings, what are the memories that are being inspired by this, and let me kind of grow that inspiration. And so I really think that our wedding banquet, has its roots in the original film.
Mhm. Perfect. Next.
Um, Andrew came to me with the script, and I knew Andrew was a filmmaker already. Had found his film Sideways just through, or Sideways Driveways. Funny. Oh my God, I'm tired. I'd found Driveways through Sundance. That's why I tripped over the word. Um, and just, he was making the kind of films that I wanted to make. And then after he approached me, watching his other films and getting a sense of just really how diverse he is as a director. I mean, it was also incredibly delightful to learn about Bridgerton.
Yeah.
So it felt like this is awesome. One of the biggest things that drew me to it as well is just loving Ang Lee as a filmmaker and knowing that there was this collaboration continuing with James Schamus. I was aware of the wedding banquet, but not fully how significant it was until I read this script, it really stood out to me just early representation during times when like queerness was almost a gimmick in every other film. And like the 90s was just kind of a brutal time for a lot of that, I feel.
Yeah.
But there are always these moments where you have these standout highlight films, and just knowing that the gift of Ang Lee as a director to world of cinema had its origins in this film, felt just like such an honor that Andrew saw me in it. Personal reasons, I was really excited with the prospect of working with Bowen Yang.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and then Andrew was just so open and willing to have a conversation about ideas, and just he was talking about how important it was, the value of he holds of working with good people,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that just felt safe, like beyond wanting an ensemble comedy somewhere in my repertoire that I was already on the lookout for. This felt like a nice home for everyone,
Mhm.
like a nice home for.
Perfect. And Kelly?
Um, I was really excited to tell a queer story with queer folks by queer folks. And I think that I I've said this before, but I feel like it's such a privilege to work at all in this industry. Like I have to keep reminding myself that what we're doing is impossible every day. Um,
Yeah.
and on top of that, whenever as an actor you get the privilege of using your own personal experience when you're going through something in your life that is strangely like analogous or similar to what your character is going through, and when you get to do that simultaneously, that is the most privileged of all privileges. And I was really fortunate to be able to um not only work with these incredible folks, but I think I feel like I was just in therapy the whole time. It was such a my sisters came to the screening last night and they watched it and they were like, wow, you really worked out some stuff.
It's a very therapeutic film. Love it. And,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Angela and Lee's relationship feels so grounded, tender, and refreshingly real. How did you two build that chemistry, and what did portraying queer parenthood mean to you both?
I think the chemistry was just there. Andrew had such a good sense of who these two were, and he has such a good sense of people in general. So coming on for, knowing that I was going to do this for, man, like it felt like a year before we actually met in person.
Mhm.
And then it was another several months before we knew who Angela was going to be. And when he told me that it was Kelly, I was just so excited. She was kind of a guiding light for me with just everything she went through with representation and then ugly, evil backlash to that. Just like she was so brave and beautiful through all of it, and just being such a fan of Star Wars myself. It was just like, oh my God, are you serious? So it was really easy. What I loved and what felt like a very clear marker to me, the first scene that we shot together after having, 15 minutes with a couple of guided questions Andrew gave us to just have a moment where we got to come up with a secret the two of us share and then a secret that we keep from each other. Just like, we didn't talk about that one, obviously. We understood the assignment. Although I think I ended up just telling you what my secret was anyway, because we have that kind of relationship. No secrets between these two.
Secrets.
No use for them. But anyways, then when we walked, so it was a joy to meet Kelly, and then in the scene work, just the gift of getting to work with an actor who shows up, is committed, has their character, and it's delightful to get to see that firsthand,
Mhm.
just like front row. And I was saying yesterday, from like the back row, people maybe would miss some of the things that you just can't miss when you're in a scene with somebody and you have this intimacy, but the aura changed.
Yeah.
The tension in her shoulders changed. The like just everything felt so effortlessly Angela that it helped me ballast and find Lee
Mhm.
balance.
Perfect. Kelly, have anything to add to that?
Sorry, I'm moved.
No.
Um, yeah, I mean, everything that Lily said, it was so easy and effortless to just be in the presence of Lily and everything that she brings to her characters, but also the energy that she brings to a set. I think this is so important because I've learned so much from being around Lily, but just the ability to be um, so comfortable and loving in who you are, and it made me want to be that way more.
Mhm.
And it made, I think, a lot of us just feel like we could just be, and there was no pretense, and there was none of, no ego at all. It was just us playing and being able to fail in front of each other, and um,
We all
such
had,
a
like you
special,
said,
yeah,
the quality of generosity.
yeah.
And I mean, you know what's going to make this family that you envision work. So I mean, it feels like Andrew was just like the best sort of dad. He knew who all of the kids were going to
Yeah.
be.
Yes. Love it. Yeah, I mean, Andrew, excuse me. In addition to Lily and Kelly, we have Bowen Yang, a Joan Chen, rising star Hanji Chan. How did you go about casting such an incredible ensemble while ensuring each character had their moment to shine?
Yeah, we worked with an incredible casting director, Jenny Ju, and just the conversations, and there's always lists, and it's not always fun to go through them. Um, but it was always kind of down to, like, at the core, like, who are these people? And Jenny is so incredible at that. Like, I remember saying I wanted this ensemble to feel dynamic and spiky,
Mhm.
like, I wanted everybody to feel like individuals, and I didn't want to shy away from, like, casting actors that you might not expect to be in a film together. Because I think, like, that feels like real life to me. And then, in terms of giving everybody like their moment, it really was kind of in the screenwriting with James Schamus, like this kind of like spinning plates kind of game. But I really wanted this ensemble to just like uh to really show the diversity of kind of the queer experience and family life, and seeing those different points of view and understanding, those relationship dynamics. I think, hopefully an audience will watch this and, connect to some character in some way, and be like, oh, I'm the Lee, or it's like, or I'm the, Angela. Like that for me would be so, like that's a BuzzFeed quiz.
Awesome. Fantastic.